to continue the discussion from the third POCO series lecture onto the fourth POCO series lecture. Excuse me for my video limitations. I was actually kind of thrown out of the classroom, and then I had to request the YouTube to sneak back in and continue doing whatever I have been doing. So the blacks, they completely try to erase their history. They completely try to erase their history. And what happens when they try to erase their history? They kind of supplant, or should I say use the word supremo, on the black skin. So the white skin becomes almost a replacement of the black skin. And what happens to the black history? Black history never existed. It doesn't exist. It has never existed. But the kind of nationalism, therefore this historiography by generate, is something that Frantz Fanon has warned us against. And what is that warning? The warning is that since colonial projects itself is a self-born and origin of all, so the national literature and consciousness arises as a counter to this. And anti-colonial nationalism achieves solidarity. Now, such nationalist consciousness and literature embodies negritude. Negritude, what is negritude? Negritude is a pan-African consciousness and solidarity. Now, when I say pan-African consciousness and solidarity, what I am basically meaning is that it is again running the risk of becoming another grand narrative in the process. And there is a famous essay by Fanon. The essay's name is The Pitfalls of National Consciousness. Now, where Fanon, once nationhood is achieved, once we achieve our national independence, then the national middle class would cause more ruin than anything else. So what Fanon is saying basically is that the national consciousness becomes almost an empty shell. Why? Because the middle class would always take over. The middle class would always take over. And when the middle class would take over, what happens that the national consciousness becomes an empty shell. Because now they do not know what to do. They have fought against the British. Now the British left. They have fought against the Spanish. The Spanish left. They fought against the Portuguese. The Portuguese left. And now they don't know what to do with this newfound mother. So nationalism becomes an empty shell. And on top of that, since I was saying about the cycle in the previous lecture, so the cycle returns cyclically, almost like a Netflix's Dark. The cycle keeps on returning. And how does the cycle return? The British left from India. The Spanish left, hopefully from Latin America. The French left, again hopefully from, say, Africa. Now, when they left, they hand over the colonial authority to the existing government, to the existing central government. So, who is that central government? This central government, this is something very dangerous. This is something very, very precarious. The central government appropriates the colonizers. So there was the power dynamics between the Spanish and the natives, the English and the natives, and the French and the natives. Now the power dynamics is replaced by the central government. So it works between the central government and the Ramanis, as Salman Rushdie would have pointed out in Free Radio. So the ordinary people were being colonized by the French, by the English, by the British. Now, the same ordinary people are being colonized by the central government of India. So what happens? The Indian government adapts and adopts as they would say, they have adopted, the central government adopted the colonial paradigm of the whites. The trouble is that the exploitation, the mode of exploitation, the nature of exploitation remains pretty much the same. Now it was between the colonized and the English, now it is between colonized and the government of India. So the national consciousness or the nationalistic literature becomes almost a strategy, ideological constitutionalized strategy to mask the same colonial power game that had been continuing before the independence of those Commonwealth nations and even after the independence. So what happened in the independence, the political independence of these nations, is a sort of political independence, but that political independence may not necessarily have any correspondence between cultural independence, between economic independence, and between psychological independence. Because Fanon talks a lot about psychology and psychopathology in the minds of colonizers and also in the minds of colonized. And this is where the Oedipal relationship between the father colonizer and the children colonized creeps into the fold, into the parlance. And congratulations to Happy Father's Day again. So therefore, the middle class, particularly after the independence of these commonwealths, continue to be the victim. But since they keep shouting about the national consciousness, as we have seen in The Ghost of Mrs. Gandhi by Amitabh Ghosh, as we have seen in the Free Radio by Salman Rushdie, so they keep waiting for the free radio, but the free radio never comes. The free radio would never come. As Derrida's, to use Jacques Derrida's phraseology, the free radio is different from free radio, and the free radio differs from the arrival of the free radio. So the arrival of the free radio is permanently, perpetually, continuously delayed and postponed. And this perpetual, permanent postponement of the arrival of the free radio, to use Jacques Derrida, is something that continues to interpellate the natives across the commonwealths, be it Spanish, interpellating the Latin Americans, be it the French interpellating the Africans, or the English, the British interpellating the Indians. Now, therefore, the father continues to father the children. I use father as noun as both a verb. And we continue to celebrate Father's Day. Everybody continues to celebrate Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. And what is more important, apart from celebrating the Happy Father's Day, nation, Rashtra, also continues to celebrate the Father's Day. And how does the nation celebrate Father's Day? We all know how we celebrate our Father's Day. Just upload our love for the father in social media, and that's why you know that, okay, fine, you have a father. So had you not posted anything in your WhatsApp status on Happy Father's Day, I thought you were orphan. Okay, fine. So We all know that no one is orphan in India. And interestingly, I don't know about the Happy Father's Day. I mean, the more we have Happy Father's Day, the more and more parents get transferred into those Vriddhashrams. So the increase of Vriddhashram and the celebration of Happy Father's Day, I don't know how they coincide and coexist continuously. But anyway, that's for some other YouTube video to upload on some other happy occasion like Happy Father's Day. But let's focus on how nation celebrates the Happy Father's Day. The nation celebrates Happy Father's Day on the independence because this is the day on which the English, the French, the Spanish, they left, the colonizers left, and this is the day when the national government, with all the national consciousness of the mother, they appropriated the father. So Independence Day has got nothing to do with decolonization of mind, to use Ngugi wa Thiong. It has got everything to do with celebration of father, the phallic father, the castrating father, the othering father, and the nation also celebrates Happy Father's Day. The colonizers, they kept celebrating Father's Day from 1957 to, from 1757 to 1947. And individual subjects also continue to celebrate Father's Day. Because to round up this fourth series, there is no difference between central government of the independent countries of Commonwealth and the previous colonizers, because the colonizers colonized, and so does the central government of each nation. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, and we will surely meet again.